Hi guys, welcome back to Granya's Kitchen. Today I'm going to share my scone recipe with you. I know some of you have asked me if I could put it up. So this is my first time actually sharing it publicly, as those of you that know me from Ireland will know that these are my specialty in my coffee shop in Rathodes. So first and foremost, you have to turn on your oven. So if you have a fan oven or a convection oven, turn it to 190 degrees in Ireland, and in Canada turn it to 380 degrees. If you have a regular oven, put it to 200 degrees in Ireland and 400 degrees in Canada. So I have my oven on. I've also put some greaseproof paper on my baking tray. So first things first, we have our flour. And we're going to use 2 cups of flour. So my white mug is great for this. So actually I'm a bit awkward here. Okay, so 1 mug. Doesn't have to be exact. If it's a little bit over, don't worry. But not too much over, because then your liquids, you won't have enough liquids. Okay, so 2 mugs of flour. Now, like with my pancakes, in Ireland you won't have to add baking powder, but in Canada you will. So you're going to add 2 teaspoons, level teaspoons of baking powder. And the reason you don't have to add it in Ireland is because your flour is self-raising. Okay, so 1. A bit more actually, because there wasn't a lot in that one. So 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And to this we're going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar. Now some people like their scones sweeter, so you can add more sugar if you want. I just find 2 tablespoons are good for us. Now, into your mug, I actually have another mug the same size because I was at the end of my milk. Okay, so we're going to add into our mug 1/2 cup of milk. So I'm just going to, can you see there, Kieran? And to this, we're going to add 1 egg. And we're going to whisk it with a fork. We have that ready. Now, just mix your flour around with your hands, and we're going to add 4 ounces of margarine. Some people like to use butter, but I actually prefer margarine for scones. I find that they're a little bit lighter. So in Canada I use this imperial margarine, and it comes in 4 ounce blocks. In Ireland I used stock margarine, and I would just cut the block in half, so you want 4 ounces of margarine. Okay, so if you want to leave it out for, a little bit before you make your scones, it doesn't matter if you don't. I often do it straight from the fridge. So just put your margarine in, and you can break it up with your fingers. You can cut it up first if you like. Okay, so now, those of you that did home economics will remember your teacher saying to you, it has to be like a breadcrumb consistency. So actually, if you want to just zoom in, Kieran, I'll show you what I do. I kind of run it through my fingers like this, okay? So you pick up your flour and your margarine, and you use your thumb, okay? So you're going to mix your margarine and your flour until you get a breadcrumb consistency. Okay. And just, if you feel a bit sticking on the end, just use your hands. I think I'm shrinking because I have to go on my tippy toes to do this now. Okay, if you want to come close again, Kieran, I'm going to show you. Okay, so I don't know if you can see. It's kind of like a breadcrumb, or almost like a sand. You can actually feel how the margarine has been mixed through the flour. Okay, so to this, we're going to add our raisins. Now usually when I add my raisins, I just use fistfuls of raisins. So you know what, just as a matter of interest, let's measure them. So I usually put 2 fistfuls, but let's measure it. So actually that's going to be about 1 cup of raisins. So see, about 1 cup of raisins. Okay, so throw in your raisins. Now, Now you're going to use your hands again and you're going to mix your raisins in with your flour. Okay, now I'm just going to wash my hands. Now we have our mixture, our breadcrumb consistency and our raisins. Now the secret with scones, do not make them too wet. That's what makes them heavy. So you're not just going to pour your milk in, you're going to mix it, and if you watch me, hopefully you'll be able to see the type of consistency. So I'm going to pour in maybe about half. Okay, I'm sorry guys, but those of you who have little children will have them interrupting. My dogs are interrupting my demonstration. So okay, so I added about a half a cup of milk and mix it with your fork. Now I'm going to add another little bit. Mix it again with my fork, just to get. Now at this point I'm going to use my hands. You can see there's still bits that haven't been mixed in with the milk. So now I take my mixture and I start folding it in with my hands. Okay, so you just catch it and mix in the dry bits. That actually feels just perfect. It's not too wet and not too dry. Okay, so I'm not actually going to add any more liquid to this. Okay, so now it's all come together. We're going to flour our countertop or our board or whatever you're baking on. Okay, so there goes my, oh my lord, these two. Okay, so now I put some flour. You can put a little bit over the top as well if you like, actually. I think that's probably the correct way to do it. So now you're going to knead. When you're kneading, push out with your ball of your hands and pull back. Don't over knead, because that will make it kind of go gloopy. So you just want to knead it all together so that you can get a good surface. Now pat it out with the flat of your hand and make a round shape. Now you want it to be, I think would you say that is, Kieran? 3/4 of an inch? Between 1/2 and 3/4 of an inch. By the way, my lovely cameraman is my wonderful husband, and we must get him to bake with me someday. Okay, so I use this sized cutter. If you don't have a cutter, you can use a glass or even a mug. If you want them a bit bigger, go ahead. I think this size is perfect though, because they rise up nicely and it's just a perfect serving. And if you want more, you can always have two. So now you're going to cut them. I don't know if you can hear that, but it kind of sounds like trapped air when you push down. And I find when you hear that, you know you have the perfect consistency. Now, so I'm going to cut out my scones. Now, waste not, want not. We now put it back together again. Again, knead it again with the ball of your hands. Get your flour, flatten it out. And we have another one. And again, you want to try and use up as much of it as you can. Okay, so flatten it out again, one more, and we just might get another one out of it. Okay, so make it into a round shape, pat it out, and actually if you have a piece like this, you can always just push it in like that, and you get to use up all of your dough, and then turn it that way. Now, we're going to take our tray and we're going to rest our scones on the greaseproof paper or the parchment paper. Now, so now we're going to brush the top of our scones with the leftover milk and egg. If you haven't any left over, just put a little bit of milk in the bottom and then just brush the top of your scones. At least the boys have quietened down now. I should want to move them out a little bit, spread them out a little bit more. Not that they will overlap, but now to this, you're going to sprinkle the top with a little bit of sugar. So just take your sugar, sprinkle it over. It just gives it a nice glazed and sugary finish. I do that one? Not sure. Okay. So now you're going to pop these in the oven. So put them like in the middle of the oven. I'm going to set my timer for 20 minutes. Now, do keep an eye on them. Sometimes, it depends on where you're cooking them. At home, I found they cooked much quicker. So check them after 20 minutes. You may have to leave them in for another little bit. So I'm going to set my timer for 20 minutes. Start, and I'll be back to you when they're cooked. Cool. Okay guys, it's time. I actually put them in for an extra 3 minutes. And what I forgot to tell you is about 15 minutes I turn them around so that they get browned evenly. Okay, so let's have a look. These are our scones. So as you see, the extra 3 minutes just helps them brown up a bit. So what you need to do next is you need to cool them on a wire tray, because otherwise they kind of sweat underneath. So you're going to take your scones off. And actually a good tip to know that your scones are done is turn them upside down and tap them. And I don't know if you can hear that. They sound hollow. So that's a sign that they're cooked through. So don't be tempted to eat them straight away. Let them cool for a few minutes, because it does help them kind of dry out. If you open them too quickly, sometimes they can be a little bit soggy in the middle from the heat. So we're going to cool them on our wire tray. Okay, and while I was making the scones, I whipped up some whipping cream. I'll just actually show you what cream, depending on where you buy it, but it's the 35% whipping cream. And put in a half a teaspoon of sugar in it as well, because if you don't put sugar in it, it gets quite heavy. So I'll just show you. I whipped up the cream. Okay, and I have some raspberry jam. So some nice raspberry jam. And just when I'm ready to serve one, I will show you the finished product. Okay? Okay, we got carried away because my gorgeous neighbours just came in for a cup of tea.
We do a little
and a
intro.
scone.
There's Steve and Mary and Amanda, all sitting there enjoying the scones.
So we almost ate them all before I could show you how I served them. Okay, so I put some butter on it. If you don't want to put butter, that's fine. So just butter your scone, a bit of butter. I have to work hard for this figure. And also Mary and Steve brought in some beautiful jam from New Brunswick, and it's apple and cranberry. So put a little bit of jam on. And spread that over. Sorry, I'm making a mess here. And then some whipped cream. Of course, all of these extras are optional, but it does make a delicious treat. So there you go. There are scones served with jam and fresh cream. Yeah, I hope you enjoy. Take care, guys. Bye.
That's wonderful.